What's up, Jackalopes? I'm Hope, and I just filmed this entire video without turning on my light. So the lighting was trash, and I was like, why are all these shadows here? And I'm like, because you didn't turn on the light, you fool. So, welcome to attempt 2. Today I'm going to be talking about my TBR for Whatever-You-Want-A-Thon, which is a month-long readathon being hosted by Maddie at Book Browsing Blog, and I will link the announcement video below. But basically the idea is that you sign up, you join a team, each team has a team color and a team genre, and then there's like a series of prompts and some other things you get bonus points for, but it's competitive and you read whatever you want. You get points that if you like fulfill prompts, if you do some of the bonus stuff, if it fits your team genre, if it has your team color on it. So there are all these different ways to get points, and you also set a goal, and like you get extra points for proceeding towards your goal, and then books count for more after you've hit your goal. So there's a lot of different ways to get points, but the idea is to have fun and just read whatever you want, which I think is fun and exciting. So I'm very excited about the stack I have sitting in front of me. I'm less excited about filming this a second time, but the good news is we have Pumpkin this time. And so Pumpkin is helping. Oh, you're not gonna join me? Here. Just tail, I guess. He's investigating the book stack. So anyway, without any further ado, here are the books that I'm planning to read. Pumpkin may pop in from time to time for, to give his input. The first book I'm going to read is The Beautiful Ones by Sylvia and Miranda Garcia. This follows a young woman named Nina who is trying to join the ranks of these socialites in this major city in her country. I'm not sure how to pronounce it and I don't want to butcher it, but I believe the nation is called Leverine. So she's in this major city, she's going to these parties to try and join the ranks of the socialites. But she has telekinetic abilities that she's not very good at hiding or controlling, and so that creates some problems for her. However, at one of these parties she encounters Hector Avare, who is a pretty famous telekinetic performer, and I think he takes Nina under his wing, and it's about like the development of their relationship, but also the uncovering of a secret that he's hiding from Nina. And so I think it sounds really interesting. It's a novel of manners with a fantastical element, and this will actually fit my team genre. I'm on Team Dreams and Drama Queens, which is hosted by Maddie, the host of the readathon, and also Ashley from A Frolic Through Fiction. So the genre is like things that are fantastical and whimsical, but not like epic and high fantasy, or things that have like a speculative element, but aren't like fully sci-fi. So things like that, and this is going to fit that perfectly. This also fulfills several prompts for me. This is a 5-star prediction because I've read 2 books by this author previously. Absolutely loved both of them, gave both of them 5 stars. This is also going to fulfill Hauled in the Past Year because I bought it last month, I think. And then cover features a team color because it is green and that is our team color. Next up, I'm planning to read The Goblin Emperor by Addison. This fulfills the reread a comfort read prompt for me. That's it. That's the only prompt it fulfills. It's the only thing it fulfills. But I want to reread this month because there's another book set in the same world that's like a companion novel to this that's coming out at the end of the month called The Witness for the Dead, and I'm very excited about it. So I want to reread this before that comes out. But this follows a young half-goblin named Maya who unexpectedly becomes emperor of the Elf Empire and has to contend with like learning how to rule a court that he's unfamiliar with because he's lived most of his life as an outcast. So he doesn't really understand how the court works, and he has to suddenly rule it. So he has to come to grips with that, gain confidence, and at the same time he's trying to investigate the events that transpired that resulted in his becoming emperor, because his father and his half-brothers all suddenly died, and he wants to find out why because he thinks there's more to it than just what he's been told, that it was an airship accident. So it's about him kind of contending with both of these things throughout the novel and trying to just learn how to be a good leader in the midst of all of that. And I absolutely love this book. It is so good. Maya is such a cinnamon roll. He is just such a sweet character, and he just genuinely wants to be a good leader. He cares about the people in his court and under his rule like so much. So I just genuinely love him. He's so sweet. And then there's all these other wonderful side characters that are really interesting. Like, there's so many characters that I feel like could be the protagonist of a whole other book. So yeah, that's actually why I'm excited about the next book. The next book actually doesn't follow Maya. It follows another character who's introduced in this book, but we get a more fleshed out story following him at the end of the month, and I'm very thrilled. How many times can I say very excited in one video? I think it's a lot. And we're gonna push the limit of that. Next up, this book looks like nothing, but it's Radio Silence by Oseman. This I'm picking up as a book that is out of my comfort zone because it's a contemporary, and I never read contemporary. But I actually borrowed this from my partner. He wanted me to read it because he thinks I will really enjoy it, and that I will identify with some of what the characters struggle with in this book. But I understand there's something about, like, they're getting ready to go to college, and I think one of them has a radio show or a podcast. So that's all I know. But this fulfills the out of your comfort zone prompt for me. I think this one fulfills 4. Yeah. So out of your comfort zone as mental health representation, I've been told. It's a bookish creator's fave, which is Kat from Paperback Dreams, who talks about this book all the time. And title, last letter, title, first letter, which means that the first letter of this title has to be the same as the last letter of the previous book that I read. So I'm planning to read this right after I finish The Goblin Emperor. And that'll work. Next up, I have my poll pick, so I had to put up a poll for this one. So that's fulfilling that, and this is In the Dream House by Carmen Machado, which is a memoir, and I believe she uses horror tropes to discuss her experiences of being in an abusive same-sex relationship. And I just think that sounds really interesting. This could also work for me for out of your comfort zone because I don't really read memoirs at all. But I think if a memoir is going to, like, really grab my attention and, like, keep me reading until the last page, I think it's going to be something like this. Because I really struggle to get engaged with memoirs, but the concept of this sounds very cool. And I don't think I've seen any bad reviews of this one. I've heard a lot of really good things about it. So I think that I'll end up enjoying it. Possibly. I'm at least excited to try it. And I think this one is my poll pick and my independently published book, which is, it's Grey Wolf Press, which upon doing a little bit of digging appears to be an independent press. But if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below, and I will use my runner-up book. But I'm pretty sure that I'm correct. Fingers crossed anyway. The penultimate book is The City We Became by N.K. Jemisin, which I believe is about, like, a series of people who are like the embodiment of the souls of New York. So there's like a different soul for every borough of the city, and it's all these different people who embody the soul of the city and have to work together to, I think, prevent the destruction of the city or avert some sort of disaster. I don't know a whole lot beyond that. I do know that a lot of people really love N.K. Jemisin's writing, and I'm really excited to try this one. I am a little intimidated too, maybe just because she has such a dense backlog. Like, I've heard a lot of people talk about her previous books and about how they're very thinky brain, as I like to put it, that, like, it takes a lot of effort to get into them and to get to grips with everything. They're very good, but they do take a lot of effort. So I've been a little bit intimidated, but I am looking forward to finally picking this one up this month. This will be my first N.K. Jemisin book, and I'm hoping that I love it because I really would like to get into some of her other books as well. And I'm using this for the cover reminds you of a pride flag prompt, because the pink, blue, and yellow on the cover remind me of the pansexual pride flag. And then I'm also using it for, what else? Where did I put my list? 10 and 11. Okay, so this is also fitting a TBR game prompt. I used to have a TBR game I used all the time, and it just really wasn't working for me. I was never finishing TBRs. I was never reading the stuff that I put on those TBRs. It wasn't working for me. But I did pull out the deck of cards that I made for it, and I pulled one of my prompts from there, and I got blurbed. So I needed to find a book blurbed by an author that I like. So this one is blurbed by Neil Gaiman. I don't know if that's visible, but right at the very top there. And it's also, what was the other one? It's also a buddy read. So my partner and I are going to buddy read this because he's got the audiobook and I've got the physical copy. So we're going to read this and talk about it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. This is maybe the one no, I take that back. I was about to say this is the one I'm most intimidated to read this month, but actually it's Radio Silence. So never mind. I'm just excited. And the last book is Legendborn by Tracy Dion, which follows, I think her name is Bree, who's a 16-year-old girl who goes to this residential program for high schoolers at UNC Chapel Hill. And while she's there, she starts to find out some information about the night her mother died and starts to discover that there was more going on there than she initially realized. And as part of this, I believe she also comes across a secret society. Yeah, a secret society called the Legendborn, who are students who hunt down creatures, and she kind of gets wrapped up in stuff with that secret society, and she wants to take down the society from within, but she ends up having to decide whether she forges ahead with that plan or whether she joins up with them to fight a greater evil. That is everything I know about this. I do have the audiobook for this as well. I don't normally do well with audiobooks, but I listened to the sample for this and the narrator seemed fantastic, so I'm hopeful that that will work and I can kind of swap between audiobook and physical just for some variety. But you know, if I still can't do audiobooks well this month either, I at least have the physical copy. Also, this cover art is gorgeous. I love the lighting that they've done here. And actually, this is like one of the few times I'm not mad about a sticker. Like, I'm fine with this big green sticker. It's just, it's such a pretty cover. I absolutely love it. I'm like turning it sideways because you can't see the whole thing. But yeah, I just love it. So, who designed this? Does it tell me? I just want to give a shout out to whoever designed this because it's awesome. Laura X or Eckes, something like that. And Hillary Wilson. So yeah, very cool. But those are all the books I'm planning to read in June. I do have some other things that I'm currently in the middle of that I would like to get to and finish. I'm currently reading, I didn't bring them with me, so I'm just going to list them off. I'm currently reading Docile by Cam Sparrow, Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell, and The Deep by River Solomon. I'm really loving all three of those. I think that if I can get through some of these, I will try to polish off those as well, because I've got about 100 pages of each of those. I think Docile is where I have the most, or maybe Winter's Orbit. Anyway, those may also get read this month too, but I'm very excited to jump into these. I've already started The Beautiful Ones. It's June 1st. This is probably not going up until tomorrow, so like, we're into it now. But yeah, that's everything I have for you today. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's just a lot of me rambling, but thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. So, bye.